it's me, Queen KB. Welcome to another edition of the Royal Council. This week, we're going to be discussing the women outside the WWE to back up the edition we did a few weeks ago of women inside the WWE. With me this week, as per usual, is Baron Botch, Noble Natalie, and back with us this week is Lord Lewis. We're gonna mostly focus on Impact Wrestling and AEW, maybe a little bit of Ring of Honor, but mostly because there's crossovers, and I think Botch has one that hasn't gone in anywhere. So we, as per usual, I have my handy dandy notebook, and I've been writing a list. A list. But let's just start with Botch. Go for it. Who do you want to talk about first?
Gosh, let's see. I'll do something that's easy, but I know she's one of your favorites too, Queen, and I'm thinking of Big Swole.
Oh, I like her.
She is. See, even Natalie knows. Like, she's just dripping in charisma. She has incredible presence. She works in the ring well. She's impactful. Her feud with Britt Baker is life itself.
Oh my God.
She's such a perfect foil for Britt. It's not even funny. She has so much attitude. She's just absolutely amazing. She has it, like silos full of it. And I can't wait to see what happens when she really hits her stride, and when she and Britt can get in the ring together, when this can finally pay off. This has just been so much fun, and she's just great. I love her to death.
I have to give Big Swole a couple of shouts outs. And first off, she's a crony. She suffers with Crohn's disease. I just found that out. I don't know how bad it is. Obviously, it can't be too troublesome, as she can work the ring like nobody's business. And the other thing is, I hear she makes her own ring gear. And that to me is also huge.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Bianca Belair. It's one of those things that connects me, draws me in even more to Big Swole.
Interesting. I never knew that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
neither did I know that she was a crony either. I didn't know that until
yeah, I was the one who actually revealed it to you, wasn't I?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That makes her even cooler, because then she's working through adversity. That's even better.
The only other person I know who was diagnosed with Crohn's working the ring is I don't know what he's
Joaquin Wilde.
Yeah, Joaquin Wilde, yeah.
He was diagnosed while he was in Impact Wrestling and ended up in for emergency surgery.
I remember that. Yeah.
It ended up being Crohn's disease.
Yeah, I remember finding out about that. When he was DJZ, yeah.
Right. And lastly, and he wasn't diagnosed until after he left wrestling, was George the Animal Steel.
That I knew. Yeah.
So, since we're talking AEW, Natalie, who's been tickling your fancy for the women in AEW?
Well, Big Swole was my favorite of the women.
Mine too.
Brandy's not bad. I don't like her ring gear.
I agree. Her ring gear is
not good. It makes her look fat.
Yeah,
but she has a nice figure till she puts that damn ring gear on. Pardon me, sorry. But then she looks fat. It's the way it hits her hips. It's like she looks fat. I don't really like the blonde that fights with her, that wrestles with her. I don't like her.
Allie?
And I do not like that Britt Baker.
Britt Baker? I love that Natalie hates the heels and loves the faces. It brings.
But I like some of the heels, though.
Oh, I know. It's funny.
It's just Baker. I don't like her wrestling. I don't like. She opens her mouth and she's okay she's getting better. But the attitude, I just want to. She makes me angry.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
She's sucking you right in.
She's so good that you hate her guts. That's the idea.
that's the
She's
idea.
not even good enough to hate. I just,
Oh,
You lie.
Yeah.
You hate her. I see it on your face. You lie.
oh no,
You
I
hate-
don't like
Don't
her.
you?
I just don't hate her.
Yes, you do. I
No.
see it on your face.
yeah. Well,
No.
who
You,
else?
you know that there are some people I actually hate.
Oh, I know. I
And
know.
I would, yeah, I don't even like to talk about Randy Orton. Ric
Yeah, we
Flair.
won't go there because we're talking about the women. So,
Hey,
Lewis,
women,
what do you
women,
got?
women.
Well, I think you've pretty much covered the one shining light of AEW. That's Big Swole, and I don't understand why they didn't push her from the start, because you've got Britt Baker, who is a great talker but can't work. Well, she's getting better, but
Yeah.
she couldn't work. Chris Statlander, great in the ring, can't talk.
Oh, I love Chris.
Not at all. Yeah.
Shida, another great worker, but
Mhm.
she's currently the face of AEW, and that promo she had on Dynamite was awful. Like,
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Android
Like,
promo that she
I mean,
gave last
yeah.
night.
and the
Ooh.
thing is, I get she can't speak English, and she's trying really hard, and I appreciate the work that she's putting in. But then you've got Asuka on
Yeah.
Raw, who has the same situation, but she's dripping in charisma, and so they go, you can't speak English that well, speak Japanese, really
Right.
bring out your personality, and people will love you, and that's what Shida needs to do. But then you've got
Yeah.
Big Swole, who can talk and can wrestle, and she's been stuck on dark for most of the time. Like, why give her the spotlight that
But
she
think of-
deserves?
But think
Do
of
you
it this
think
way: if she had the spotlight right away, and if she was given everything right away,
Oh, I don't mean that.
would she be well? And no, I know what you mean. I didn't say
Mm.
that well, but I know exactly what you're getting at. But I'm saying, like, this way for me anyway, because it's all happening so slowly. Like, it just makes me want it more for her, and I root for her harder than I would if
Yeah.
things were going as they were supposed to. You know,
But
I
do
know
you
what you
think?
mean, but I like that she's having to
Yeah.
fight for it.
But the problem is with AEW, their women's division is a joke, and the fact
Oh,
that
yeah.
it's really
Yes, it is.
it's really shone
Crap.
a light on it because they're pushing the wrong people, the Nyla Roses, the Chris Statlanders, who's great in the ring but can't talk. You're putting people who can't wrestle versus people who can't talk, and you're getting nothing out of it.
Right.
And then you've got people that can do that, can do both, and you're leaving them to the wayside. And you're just highlighting that you have a terrible division. And that's what
Well-
AEW made from the get-go.
I
True.
have to say the division is terrible, and I was going to, while you were talking, bring up that maybe because Big Swole doesn't look traditional like a top person, but then I realized that their first AEW's first women's champion was Riho, who comes in at 5'0", 93 pounds. And then it went to Nyla, who is a bigger girl, 5'7", 185.
And
And-
she's a transgender as well. I think, I
She's
don't know.
transgender, which has
So, which
nothing
doesn't-
to do with any of it, to be honest with you.
But
Yeah.
what I mean is,
She's
she's not the
built
traditional
because of
kind
it.
of, yeah.
But she is only 5'7", so
Hmm.
it's not like she's huge by any stretch. But compared to Riho, she
Hmm.
is. But I actually went through and pulled a bunch of how these women are built, just because the industry has changed so much. It used to be the ones who were pushed were built like Trish and were built like, and the fact that Nyla
Black and
is
blonde.
right. The fact that Nyla is 5'7" and billed at 185 pounds, and Riho is 5'0" and 93 pounds soaking wet, shows that the industry, especially since we're in AEW right now, that they're really throwing those traditional things out the window. And so I don't think that's why Big Swole hasn't been pushed. I don't think her look has anything to do with it.
Yeah, I don't either, really.
I think a lot of who got pushed was two sides of it. One was Kenny Omega and his agenda, because Riho was his go-to, like, she's got to be in it, she's great.
Yeah.
And the other side is AEW trying to show that they're different to WWE by pushing someone like Nyla Rose, who isn't the standard kind of diva. You know, and it's like, this is different to WWE, but in doing so, you had someone who couldn't talk versus someone who couldn't wrestle, and it came across terrible.
And can't talk either. Nyla Rose can't talk.
Yeah.
Nyla Rose can't talk. She can't wrestle. Riho can't talk, but dang, that little thing can work the ring.
And Nyla hasn't been ready for a long time. Because Nyla used to be in, I don't know if any of you've seen it, but there was a promotion called Capital Wrestling, which kind of has an interesting look. You can find the episodes on YouTube if you're curious. Marcus Dowling runs it. It's interesting, but that's where Nyla was, and even then, Nyla was just treated as like big beast rather than somebody who could work the ring. Here's a fun fact.
Goldberg, basically.
When she was very Goldberg-ish, but when Nyla was in Capital Wrestling, guess who she teamed with?
Who?
She teamed with the ref in NXT, Stephon Smith. They were a tag team.
I love her.
It was a riot. It's such a riot. Like, Stephon Smith can work his face off, FYI. But when they were together in Capital Wrestling, they were a tag team.
Really?
And it worked. It was really fun. Like, the two of them worked really well together. It was fun because he can really work. And she could pull off the beast thing. So it actually kind of balanced itself out and worked fairly well. But Nyla on her own, yeah, that's why she's getting Vicky Guerrero, because it just doesn't work.
Well, the problem I have is that it seems like Nyla Rose, and I'm going to throw Nia Jax in there, even though we're not discussing the WWE women. It feels like they're trying to build them the way Asia Kong and Awesome Kong have been built and were booked through their careers. And the problem is that they just don't have the skills that Awesome Kong had, that Asia Kong had, that Bull Nakano had. They're all of an ilk because of their build, but these women that we're talking about now, specifically Nyla, because we're outside the WWE, just does not have the tools to be booked like Awesome Kong or Bull Nakano or Aja Kong.
Agreed. I completely agree.
That's where the
just doesn't have the
problem
tools. Yeah.
No.
And putting Vicky Guerrero is basically like painting over a crack. You know, it's just like, we'll stick her with it and it'll be okay. And it's like, well, as soon as she gets in the ring, she's exposed again.
But Vicky will make it watchable, if nothing else.
Yes.
And then Vicky will be a presence outside the ring for her too, and make the whole thing watchable. So I'm not mad at that. Like, to be real, like, Nyla needed anything. And Vicky can talk her face off.
Yes.
So
I actually had Vicky on my list of women because she should be mentioned. Because while not a wrestler, she is a amazing woman on mic.
And she was so bad to begin with. She was wretched at first, so bad. But it didn't take her long at all. She found "excuse me" and
that was it. Bang.
Yeah.
Nailed. Absolutely. And she made a virtue out of the fact that she was unstable on the microphone. She made it a virtue. It was genius. Just mad genius.
To the point that Vicky being on AEW makes me want to go back and watch 2006, 2007, just to be reminded of where she came from. Yeah. And as much as it breaks my heart, and I said this to Natalie during AEW last night when Vicky appeared, was it breaks my heart that we had to lose Eddie to find one of the top heels in the industry ever. Yeah. You know, we lost,
I would say,
one of the greats to get another great on a totally different ilk.
Agreed.
I would say she's probably the best manager of the noughties. Personally.
She's definitely the best manager of this century by far.
Easy. Well, Robert Stone is on his way.
Yeah.
Yes,
but he's still early in the making.
Vicky has what now? Say again, Queen?
Years behind her. She's been doing this for years. Whereas Robert Stone, no offense, but when I interviewed him, it was worse than talking to a blank wall. I didn't think he had this in him at all. And Vicky, every time even before she debuted and did all of that, you could see that she just had so much personality there.
She's such a sweet human being. Nothing
she
at
is.
all like that.
No,
And that's what makes
she's-
it work.
Exactly.
It's genius. She's so good.
She falls into the category with Daniel Bryan and Stone Cold Steve Austin in that she can take a basic word or phrase and make it her own for the rest of time.
Excuse me. That's all it
Excuse
took.
me. What? No. Yes. Excuse me.
She's the original Karen.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh my God. And the hair. She has Karen hair.
She does.
And the fact that she
Fair.
cut all her hair off just to be back to play Vicky again is great.
She's so hateable with that hair. You just hate her.
Oh yeah,
guts. It's
she
great.
has Karen hair.
She
I feel
does.
bad for anyone named Karen right now.
You know?
Oh, I thought you said carrot hair, and I'm thinking carrot head. You know,
No, not Kara, Karen.
Yeah.
But yeah, but they're basically AEW has a lot of great people. They're just not handling them well at all.
But I think, as bad as the promo was, Shida basically summed it up and said there is not a lot of women in this division, and it shows, and it's clear. You've got two big injuries, Statlander and Britt Baker, and suddenly your roster's depleted. Like, that shouldn't happen.
And the Nightmare Sisters are not the way
Oh,
forward.
they're awful. They are awful.
No, and the thing is,
So
they had
much
Big
no.
Swole.
Like, no.
But- and the thing is, they don't have a
Allie I
tag-
like.
Yeah, the problem is they have no tag division, so these two have nowhere to go as a team. Like, what are they going to do? Challenge the men for the titles? I mean,
Basically.
Well, there's also someone we hadn't mentioned who I notice has gotten a lot better. I won't say she's fantastic, and that's Penelope Ford.
True. I'll give
She
you
has
that all
gotten
day
a
long.
lot better in the ring
Yes, she has.
she hasn't done a lot
over
of
the past
talking.
6 months.
She hasn't
She
done a lot
really
of talking,
has.
but when she does, she's very
Yeah.
on point.
It
And
works.
she's-
Yeah.
She has a great look too.
Yeah.
And she knows how to dress in the ring, which I get.
Oh,
I bet
yes.
Natalie would agree with me. She knows how to dress herself in the ring, and that's a bigger and bigger problem with the changing body shapes and sizes of women in the ring these days.
You and I have talked about her clothes.
Yes,
I think so.
we've talked about just about all of them, but I just think she has it if they give it to her.
I agree. I
Mhm.
very much agree. She's got charisma. She's got presence. She really does. I agree with you.
I'd love to
She's
see
very
it.
big.
I'd love to see a feud between Penelope and Big Swole.
Oh
I
gosh.
think that could be really good.
And she doesn't need that hanger-on guy that her
Oh
boyfriend.
no, Sabin. Oh no, I love them two
I
together.
can't
think.
stand him.
I do
Oh, I
too.
love
But
it.
she
I
doesn't
do too.
need him. She can do it without him.
But it's great
Yeah,
that
but-
they're together though, because you're
Yeah.
mad because she doesn't need him.
But
That's
they
great. That makes
I
her
feel like
hateable.
they can be separate easily, but I think they elevate each other, and they bring
Oh,
that
yeah.
just that little bit of fun.
He needs her more than she needs him.
Probably. That's
You're
why.
right.
That's why you hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
Oh, I don't hate it. I just don't think she needs him.
you're eating this
Yes.
up, and that's exactly what they want you to do. And I love watching that. I love giving into that. It's so much fun. Like when we hate who we're supposed to hate, it's so cool.
But the thing is, she can bring it, and she does. She does deliver.
She does.
yes.
Taking away from her.
I want to
That's just
mention
it.
That's the idea.
one last name before we from AEW.
Mhm.
She's not a wrestler, but she deserves our respect more than about anyone else on the AEW roster, in my opinion.
The referee.
Audrey Edwards.
Oh,
Aubrey Edwards.
yes. Say it
We
louder so they hear you in the
cannot
back.
miss Aubrey. We need to discuss Aubrey. And
Well,
Natalie she knew where I was going with this.
Love her.
She's fantastic.
I think she's really found the right home because she would not be allowed to have that personality in WWE.
No.
But in AEW, they'd like be the character, and she is just amazing. I love her confrontation with Jericho that they constantly have in the ring.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Was it Jared that she kicked his hand off the rope one
That's
time?
exactly who
Yeah,
it was.
just-
Yeah.
Last week, I think it was. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you don't do
Because he
what
kept
she
grabbing
says,
onto
she
the rope,
makes you
and she
do
kept
it.
saying stop it, and he
She's
kept doing
so-
it.
Gosh,
Yeah.
she's so good.
She is so good.
Mm.
Yeah, and you're right. I agree with you because the referees are very faceless in WWE because that's the way they want them. In AEW, they can show personality, and she's dripping in it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great.
Oh, so much greatness in that little body of hers.
They
forget-
allow the referees to be another character, which I think is really cool.
But
forget
she's
her
the only
name.
referee I really remember because she's just so dripping. Exactly.
But quickly to WWE, I forget her name, but the blonde woman referee.
The ref on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we
I
love
would
her,
I would
but
love to
she's
see
no
her in AEW because I think she would have even more of a character because you saw a little bit of it with the whole Ivar Eric stuff. And
Yeah,
Yes.
Jessica,
She's like,
Jessica
"Oh, you're
crackles with
fun."
it too. I agree.
She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're quite funny. I like that." And then I could imagine she would have so much more of a personality. Maybe not quite Aubrey style, but maybe more of like an angry kind of ref. Like doesn't take any stuff from wrestlers. I could imagine she'd be that sort of ref in AEW if she was there and given allowed to have her personality out.
She is
It
really
would be
good. Yeah,
fun.
I think so too. Yeah,
Mm.
I think so too. What was the other one? The African American. She's younger. She
The
was
one
fairly.
who's with Leon Ruff. I forget her name.
Exactly. I can't remember her name either, but she's really good too. Like
That's the problem with refs in WWE. They don't allow you don't know their names
but
because
you
they've never.
but you can kind of see her throwing off a little bit of something every once in a while. It's like it's in there, but they don't want it out there.
Which doesn't make sense to me after all of the Earl and Dave Hebner crap for years.
But yeah, I don't
mean,
know
they
why
made
they're.
so much of Earl for and his son for years, and
did,
now
yeah.
refs aren't allowed to have personality.
I mean, I could understand it because the ref is always supposed to be the invisible man, like in boxing, he's
Oh,
there
yeah.
to just, but this is wrestling, it's about personalities. So the ref
Exactly.
doesn't need to be invisible. Let their
And-
personality run.
And she was allowed to show more Jessica was allowed to show more personality when she was in NXT.
Mm.
And of course, I was hoping for more when she hit SmackDown, and of course,
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want that there. Because Drake shows more personality down there too. Like Drake Word, Oompa Loompa.
Mm.
Because his skin is so orange.
McMahon's fault.
Oh, I know it's terrible. He really needs to calm down on that fake tan.
Yeah.
What,
big
Natalie?
time.
Is it Vince McMahon's fault that the refs are faceless
yes.
in W?
Ultimately,
he
yeah,
didn't
it has
want
to
Get a
be.
grip on
I think
things.
I believe a while ago now, he made a call to the commentators to not mention the refs' names or something like that.
It's a number of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was after Earl and his son Brian left that it went that way because both of them were allowed to show personality.
Yeah, they became too much of a big deal, and then when they went to TNA, it was a big deal that they left. And Vince figures, I'm not in his head, I don't know the man, but I'm guessing that because the refs are de-emphasized, then if they leave, it doesn't matter. They become more interchangeable.
I
Same
agree.
with the backstage staff as well, but that's
Right.
changed recently since Renee's come in. They've gotten these personalities, and now they're more interesting. Where I think they're the dime a dozen sort of thing. Don't give them a personality, we can get rid of them, bring someone else in, no issue.
There's kind of, I don't know, I mean,
WWE does do a lot of things wrong. They just aren't
But it
getting it
does-
right.
But there's so many things they do right in WWE. I want to
But
stay
there's a
away
lot
from
of little things that there's a reason. I mean, I love NXT,
Mhm.
but there's a reason I'm watching AEW.
Oh, right
But
there.
But it can't be for the
AEW 's
women.
fun. I don't blame you for watching
And
it.
it's the women, and it ain't for
the
the
women
looks of the guys. It's what I'm seeing in the ring, the show. It's
Yeah.
not as choreographed.
I agree.
Oh, I think this is a whole other show we should do at some point very
I think so
soon.
too. Yeah,
Maybe next episode.
it's a good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because it is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But,
Is there anyone else in AEW that we want to?
I don't think there's many in there, is there?
I think we
Well, I
covered it.
if we have covered it, I would like to just mention something because we're going to go over to that topic anyway. But I think obviously AEW are the second trying to become the top wrestling company. Long way away from that, but
Yeah.
So long.
they are a long way from being the best or even second best division for women, because the second, which were at one point the best women's division, is the Knockouts
The
division.
Knockouts, of course.
And it says a lot to have someone who could have, signed and had big TV deal in AEW, deciding not to go there and go to Impact. And the same can be said with someone from NXT. Who, yes, she was being jobbed, but that's what happens when you start out. You get jobbed, and eventually you become pushed and become a big deal.
Yes.
But she decided to leave and join Impact, and now she's getting a Knockouts title shot in her first return, and that's obviously Deonna Purrazzo I'm talking about. And with the AEW one, that's Kylie Ray.
Yep.
Kylie Ray. I can't say her name.
Kylie Ray.
Bailey Jr.
But the fact that they are willing to not join or stay with the top two companies in the world to go to a small company like Impact shows just how strong their women's division is.
See, that's a whole other discussion too. You could almost do like a whole show on that, because I mean, at the end of the day, and I don't mean to be crass or anything like that, but I mean, at the end of the day, silly me, I thought this was about making money.
Yeah.
So that you could kind of secure your own future. Yes, it sounds very rebellious and so very cool to go to the other company where you imagine the cool factor to be, but silly me, I thought this was about making money.
But
if a company's going to offer you more money, then don't be stupid, take the money.
Yes, but if you're smart, like I think these two are, you'll see that I'm not going to get my opportunity here. I'm going to get my opportunity in Impact, become a top star there, and be able to get that money. Look at Drew McIntyre.
True.
He lost his job. He went to Impact. He made his name. He rebuilt his career, and now he's the top guy in WWE.
True.
Lucha Underground too.
Say again, Queen.
Lucha Underground too.
True.
He spent some time there, didn't he?
He kind of went everywhere. When he was out, he went everywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere that would have him, he went, because he wanted to get better.
But that's what I think Deonna Purrazzo is doing. She sees that she was a jobber in NXT. She's not going to make the money there. She can go to Impact, become, straight into a title picture.
That money thing, though.
It looks like she might be trying to Gail Kim it, Gail Kim didn't work in WWE, and so she went to TNA, and dang, she made a name for herself there.
And then she went back to WWE and realized that was a mistake, and then went back to TNA again.
That was her personality more than anything.
Well, but this was also back when TNA had money to give. They're not doing well anymore. They're just kind of not. And I understand completely what you're saying, Lewis, about kind of going somewhere else, becoming a bigger deal, and then going back, kind of using Impact as kind of a springboard kind of thing. But the truth is, even if she's just in NXT, I can't imagine that she's doing any better financially. She's probably doing worse, in fact, by being at Impact Wrestling. At some point, we have to be capitalist pigs about this and go, wait a minute, the money's over here. Will I be artistically satisfied? Probably not, but this is COVID-19. If there's money on the table, I should probably take it.
But we don't know what her personal status is. She might be someone who's not I need to be wealthy. As long as I have enough money to survive, have a comfortable-ish life, and do what I love and really show my talents. Maybe that's what her thought process was.
Yeah, there were a lot of people who, Matt Hardy left WWE again to go get some creative fulfillment. He doesn't need the money right now. We know that.
Not at all. Yeah.
But it shows that there is more of a drive than just the finances.
Yeah.
Not if you talk to Kevin Nash or Scott Hall, or
I've talked to Kevin Nash much more recently, and he has so mellowed on that so much.
Oh,
but then again, he has the money.
He can mellow. He can afford to mellow.
Well,
I think I actually had quite a long talk about that one day. One of the times I met him, actually, Stacy and I both talked to him about it quite a bit. He's absolutely mellowed on that in a way that shocked me, but another show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know Natalie hasn't been watching Impact. Botch, have you seen any?
Not really, other than Jordan Grace. No, but
So-
but
so-
I've also seen Jordan Grace elsewhere, and I love her dearly, and she wins Twitter for life.
Explain.
I don't watch it because I didn't know where to watch it.
I will get you hooked up with
Access.
Impact Plus. That's where I've been watching it.
You can watch it on Impact Plus or Access if you have it, or if you're in the UK, it's on Show.
I'm in the US.
Showtime or something like that.
Nobody has access. Let me help you
No.
with that. Like, it's just nobody has. I don't know where it is that you find access, but nobody I know has it. I assure you, I don't. I have a lot of channels, and access ain't one of them.
Oh,
We get it free on Sky on channel 192.
because I was watching it on Impact Plus earlier today, and that just took signing in, no money, just make an account.
That's actually useful information because I was trying to navigate their Twitch channel, which is like trying to find Atlantis.
No, go to Impact Plus. There's an app. I got it on my phone. I've got it on my TV, and so I signed in, and I watched the most recent 2 episodes of Impact because I wanted to see a few of the women that I didn't know, and just get a feel for the show again. And Wrestle Royalty might be touching on Impact pretty soon.
And Impact, if you're watching and you want to give us free merch, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I want to get to know some of these wrestlers.
I want to
Yeah.
dress.
So,
I want to dress up my pineapple.
so I've been watching Impact for the past about month and a half because I'd never watched TNA. I think I watched a couple episodes and I was like, it's just not for me. I'll stick with WWE. But yeah, I've been watching Impact for about a month and a half now, and I'm really enjoying it. I mean, there's a lot of missteps. I mean, they are focused on some of the wrong people, like Johnny Swinger. I can't stand
who?
Johnny Swinger.
Oh
Can't
gosh.
stand him. Enough of him, please. But
We'll
yeah,
get to the guys when we do our Impact stuff.
yeah. But what they have been doing, and I've been really loving it, is the women's division. Especially people like Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz, Nevaeh, Havoc, and of course the Knockouts champion Jordan Grace. I mean, these women have so much talent, and they're just I'm enjoying every single match that they're in, and I'm just like, I want more, and I cannot wait.
I noticed even more so in Impact than the other companies is, and I have to bring this up as a woman, a curvy person myself, most of the women in Impact are not built like this. They don't look like Sasha. They don't look like Bailey. They don't look like the typical what you think of the divas, even though these women are not divas anymore in WWE. These women look real. Havoc looks like a real woman. Taya Valkyrie, oh my gosh. I watched some videos of her wrestling in Mexico, and she was about this big around, and she was flying all over the place, and she was great. And now that she's in Impact, she's put on a few pounds, and she's all curves. And John Morrison is a lucky, lucky, lucky man.
And she is the longest reigning Knockouts champion in history.
Yes. But
so they see a lot in her.
The women there are women, and they kick butt.
So they get to be women and not sleazy?
There's very little sleazy the way there was with the divas before we went to, and then WWE still has more sleaze than Impact. I see.
What's
I never liked the sleazy.
What sleeves?
Look at how the women are dressed in WWE compared to, you haven't seen much Impact lately. The women are just more covered up, and they're just more focused on wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Jordan Grace.
Some of the clothes some of the women wear.
Oh, I know. I think that they are truly more focused on
the wrestling.
The wrestling in Impact than AEW or WWE.
And I think if Jordan Grace ever decides to leave Impact, and I'm sure she will eventually, AEW and WWE will have a great woman on
Bidding
their
war
hands. If
over
they, if they don't fight over her, they're bad.
Jordan is crazy, and it makes perfect sense given who her husband is, Jonathan
Who's her
Gresham, who's
husband?
one of the most incredible workers I've ever seen in my life.
Who?
Jonathan Gresham. He does a lot of work for Beyond Wrestling, and
Okay.
I think he's been in Ring of Honor in the past, and he's just done a tremendous. He's a little thing. He's a little dude, little black dude who can work his face off. It's crazy. He can work with anybody of any size. He's very reactive, like John Moxley, Dean Ambrose is. He's fantastic, but that's this ring technician known as Jonathan Gresham. That is her husband, so it makes perfect sense that she would be just incredible in the ring, and she is. She's she's not a small woman, but
She
it doesn't
is
matter.
5'3",
She's kind,
150 pounds.
but she's kind of reminds me a bit of Keith Lee, in that she works like she shouldn't.
And she can dress for her body, which just makes her ring work look better because she's not readjusting and looking like crap out there.
Yeah, and you probably saw it. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Her match with Kimberly was
Not yet.
Oh, it's great. She because I haven't seen much of her, so I think that was the first or second match I've seen of hers, and she just owns that ring, and you can see why they put the title on her, because she's just outstanding.
I watched one of the most recent episodes of Impact, and she was I was just floored by how she worked. Just jaw-dropping.
Yeah,
I'm blown away.
Agreed. She's great. She's really great. Kira too.
Kira Hogan, I don't know how to broach this without it coming off. Oh God, I could see Botch's face.
I'm gonna hide behind my pineapple. Okay?
I wonder what the originator of the last name would think of a young African-American woman running with the same name.
I didn't think about that, but yeah.
I don't like to think about it, but that was my first thought when I realized that she was African-American. My first thought was...
But it is her real name, so, you know.
Oh, it's her real name? It's not his.
Oh, it was her real name.
That's every bit her real name. I just looked it up.
Oh, thank you, Butch. Thank you, Lewis. I did not know that. That's one thing I didn't look. I was looking at, I'll fully admit, I looked up heights and weights on some of the women just because I wanted to see how they compared.
She's 4'11".
Yeah, she's tiny.
Oh my
gosh,
I didn't know.
She had a match with Havoc, I think. It was either Havoc or Nevaeh. And she looked tiny in there, but she looked great. Like they were like Nevaeh and Havoc show that big women like Nia and Nyla have no excuse that they can't work with small people. Like Nia constantly hurting Kairi Sane. No excuse for it, because you look at Kira Hogan versus, I can't remember if it was Nevaeh or Havoc, but they put on a flawless match. It was great. Like Hogan, you know, didn't look out of place, and they weren't hurting her because they knew how to wrestle them.
Well, I mean, you have Taya Valkyrie, who's not tiny and petite. You've got Rosemary, who's not huge.
I love her.
We'll get to Rosemary, but even Jordan Grace is all curves. These women are not stick figures. And because of that, you know, you automatically flash back to the crap we've been seeing from Nia and Nyla, but these women can go. True. And go, and their character creations. Going to Rosemary, Botch, have fun.
Her Twitter handle is We Are Rosemary. It's genius. It's just, she's thought of absolutely everything, every little nuance, nook and cranny of that character she owns. When she was with Crazy Steve, it was even better, but it's still really good now. Like
the stuff she's,
and she can get in the ring and tell the story. She is perfection. I love her dearly.
You need to catch up on Impact and watch her stuff with
I need to find out more about
Taya Valkyrie and what's his name, Dino Bravo.
I don't remember his name.
Bravo, but like
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, that's it. Johnny Bravo and Ty Valkyrie. That stuff with Rosemary's, it's
I
brilliant.
never would have thought that Rosemary and Taya could make something work together because they're
They
just
are
so
genius
different,
together.
but they are genius together. And Johnny Bravo is just kind of this strange foil between them. But you've got this blonde bombshell. I mean, and
Yeah.
Taya is a blonde bombshell.
With a
and they wear earmuffs and long gloves, and she has this whole crazy thing. And then she's looking a little absurd. And then she's got Rosemary next to her, Rosemary is full goth makeup and the craziness and the hair and the spikes and the chains and the black and the girl after my own heart. And they just their charisma and their mic work, never mind their ring work is phenomenal, but their mic work and their character work and the fact that they're not overly scripted.
I hate overly scripted.
And I'm aware this will probably
Like that.
I'm aware this will probably come out after Slammiversary, which is on Saturday. But if it somehow, if Botched works his magic and it comes out before, I would highly urge people to watch it, because it's, you've got Jordan Grace versus Diana Perazzo, which is going to be a clinic. That's going to be amazing. And then you've got 11 women in a I think Gauntlet for the Gold, which TNA, it's been a long running system where it's a bit like the Royal Rumble, where you start with 2, someone comes in, and then you get eliminated over the top rope until there's only 2 people left, and then it's a singles match, and the person that pins gets the victory.
I love that setup.
And you've got some great, who we've mentioned, and we also got the returning Madison Rayne, who's been on commentary, who I've actually really enjoyed on commentary.
I was going to bring up Madison Rayne was on my short list. There's actually 1 or 2 after that, but Madison
it itched.
has killed it on announce lately. I'm not a big Josh Matthews fan, but she works really well with Josh Matthews.
Well, they're married in real life, so I think they've got that chemistry.
Yeah, they're married.
Wait. I thought she was married to a military guy.
No, she's married to him.
I mean, he might be in the military.
No.
But no, they're married. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a married couple. That's why it works so well.
Mm.
I'm so confused now.
She's like, my whole life is a lie.
Wait, no, didn't Madison Rayne used to wear an insignia on her ring trunks, a military insignia on her ring trunks as a tribute to her husband, I thought.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Queen's going to go do some research.
Unless that's Angela Love or...
no. And it wasn't Love or Sky. And I wanted to mention them because while they were early knockouts, they really did a lot to grow the division as a whole. It wasn't just Kong and Gail Kim.
Mm. And quickly back to Slammiversary, there are rumors of them maybe...
They're paying him, so he has to go back to Slammiversary.
I know.
Yeah, I'll take all the Impact match. But there is rumors that Sky and Love might be making an appearance, because obviously you got all the rumors of all the former champions and stuff, and they keep showing beautiful, was it called Beautiful People or something like that?
Yeah, the Beautiful People. That's it.
And they keep showing those 2.
Madison Rayne ended up joining the Beautiful People.
Yeah, exactly. So
further along in the thing. Love is actually signed to Ring of Honor right now. I didn't know that until I went looking earlier.
Poor thing.
But she's I've never been a fan of hers, but she's always been able to go pretty well in the ring, better than she was of her time, I will say. She wasn't the best wrestler, but she's still going and still looking solid. The one, there's 2 names I want to throw out before we end today. One, just because I don't like her and I want to mention her, and that's Taylor Hendricks. I just was never a fan of hers, and I still don't get her.
Who is she? I don't even know who she
She was an impact. She was an Impact girl,
Right.
briefly, and I just thought she was horrible. Anyway, the one person we have not mentioned, and we need to mention because yes, I see you, Botch. We need to mention because things could change very quickly in one company when Tessa Blanchard is signed.
Yes.
We don't know where she's going as of yet.
Nope. No
Uh,
clue.
Who is
AEW or
Tessa
WWE.
Tessa Blanchard was with Impact. She was actually the Impact champion, like the male
She beat
championship
Sammy
match.
Callahan, didn't she?
Yeah.
She beat a guy for the championship. Right now,
Ooh.
at last I knew, she still, yeah, it was interesting. Is she, I don't know if she's still stuck in Mexico yet, or she's able
Probably
to,
not.
what?
I said probably not. I think, if she.
So the big question is, where is she going to land and what is she going to do? Because she's a huge name in the industry with lots of questions behind her, with all sorts of rumors, accusations, but man, she's a Blanchard,
I want to see her in AEW because
Why?
they need someone like Tessa Blanchard
Yes.
in their division.
They
She would
have
be
no
making
women.
a mistake. Yeah, she'd be mistake. I mean,
Do you think
But
they'd
then Big
do you
Swole.
think they'd really let her run with it there?
Yes.
yeah.
They'd be fools
Okay.
not
But,
to. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, if I was Tessa Blanchard and I was looking at the two companies, I would want more money from AEW because I know I will be running that company.
Oh yeah.
Division, should I say? But I would be
Yeah.
more interested in WWE because of the Charlottes, the Sasha Bankses, the Asukas, Io Shirai, all these
Mhm.
amazing women that she could have great matches with.
Yeah.
And then she goes to AEW, who's she really fighting? There's no one of name worth her time. So I think for me, I want to see her in AEW,
I do
but
too.
I think she'll go WWE unless
Oh, I
AEW
hope
put
not,
a really good
'cause
offer in.
WWE, yeah, they have quite a few women there.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a big woman. I mean, I don't mean big size, but
You mean big name?
Yeah,
a
big
big
name. Yeah.
name woman hit a AEW, whatever that one's called,
AEW. I know
and bypass WWE because they would just bury her. They wouldn't bother.
Well, they wouldn't bury her because she's a big name and she's a good sized woman.
She'd
too.
still get lost in that.
Yeah, there's too many
Yeah.
women.
There's too many. Some of them. I want to see Nikki Cross come to AEW too. Of course, she's one of my favorites, but
Yeah, I get it. So, Botch, where do you think where do you think Tessa's going?
AEW, her dad's there at the end. That's what I
And
think.
they showed him a lot in the audience this week.
Yeah,
A
they should.
lot.
Yeah.
They
She'd be a
kept
fool.
showing him in the audience. I forgot to mention that when we were watching. They showed
Yeah.
him a lot in the audience.
that guy would be
Yep.
black
the guy with
thing
the
around
mask,
his face.
the
Yeah.
mask that they kept showing and commenting on. Yep, that's her father.
She could go and be the face of the division. She would drop in as the face of the division. Period.
Or easily, yeah. She could
Easily.
debut, beat Sheeta, and you go, yeah, fair enough.
And the money would be there.
Oh, for her, absolutely.
For her, it would be there.
Mhm.
She's the hottest free agent there is in existence. They would be a fool if she became available. They would be a fool to not put the hardcore press on her. You have to. She's Tessa
Yeah.
Blanchard. You have to.
Yeah.
And she would be richly rewarded. She's fantastic.
But could you imagine Charlotte Flair versus Tessa Blanchard?
Yeah, that's
The-
why
The
I was.
fight of the horsewomen.
It would be delicious, but her father's over at AEW.
But also, would WWE touch her after all of the accusations that have been flying?
Oh yeah, they'd be mad not to.
Yeah, I think they probably would. And I mean, just to be clear, like about the content on our site, we've kind of got both sides of that story. We had the accusations as they exist, plus we've also got an article from somebody that knows her, that is
Right.
Stephen Dickey, that has directly spoken to her and actually knows who she is, that's been
Right.
able to kind of cut through the stuff that you've heard that probably doesn't make any sense. So you can go take a look at that if you want. There's an article specifically about her that Stephen Dickey from WoW wrote. It's really good.
It is. So I think we've hit on all of the biggest name women in the industry today. Couple things I want to mention. being on YouTube. We got to hit the please like us. Please like our video. Also, please subscribe and hit that little bell so it goes off every time we post something new, because you know you want to see it. And then as Botch is over there.
They have to select all, not just every now and then.
Right.
And they hit
All
the
of them.
bell.
Come see us. Also, we have the Royalty of the Ring going on, and we are in our finals. And it is getting juicy because Botch, or should we call him
Should
the
be. The
pineapple
king of
savior of the world? I don't know. The final week of Royalty in the Ring is this week. Please come and vote. It will be up from what time on Monday?
5 o'clock from Saturday, so the 18th of July.
All the way
5
through.
o'clock.
Voting
All the way until Friday, 24th of July, till was it 10 o'clock when
no, 8
SmackDown
o'clock.
starts?
SmackDown starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's when voting for Royalty.
I'm from the UK. It's midnight for me.
Yes. So that's when it ends, and the finals this week is obviously Botch's favorite, Pineapple Pete, Shug D, against John Cena.
Dre
has backed John Cena, and basically we have Botch and Dre going head to head with Pineapple Pete and John
If you could
Cena.
only peek into our backstage chat.
Our backstage chat has been more smack talk than I thought. More smack talk than we see in the wrestling ring. We have had backstage at Wrestle Royalty lately.
Wait till you see the videos.
The videos and the promos written by Botch and Dre are going to take over the Royalty of the Ring this week.
And don't forget, the most important thing is the matches: the John Cena match that Dre picks, and the Shug D match that Botch picks.
Vote for who? Vote for the match. Vote for the wrestler. The wrestler who touches you the most.
Or don't. Vote for me. Because you like me.
I was just about to say, don't just vote for Dre because he asks for it. Vote for Pineapple Pete because he deserves it. No, I can't say that as...
We've got to be impartial, except for Botch.
Well, specifically Lewis and I need to be impartial because he created Royalty in the Ring, and as queen, I need to stay out of it. But this is the final week of the first round. There will be more rounds coming soon, and we're very excited about those. But first off, Pineapple Pete versus
We've got to crown our
Cena.
king.
Yes.
It's going to be delicious. I'm going to dine on John Cena. Come with me, won't you?
And on that note, I think we'll sign off for this week. Have a lovely week. Bye.